Okay, I'm going to talk to whoever is planning on booking the trip, booking the RV parks, and packing. So, whoever's in charge of packing is going to want to watch this video. So, first of all, when you're booking RV parks, they're going to want to know the size of the motorhome, and it's a 31-foot Class A motorhome. And they'll also ask about the slides. It's got one slide out on the driver's side. So those are things, and you'll also want to know the height. The height, sometimes you feel a little panicked when you're like going to go toward bridges, but if you ever forget, the height is in the front window, and you can even show them the sticker up here. It's 12 feet. So as long as your, clearance is 12 feet, you're good. We've got this binder in here. Your insurance and registration is in the binder, and there's a big checklist. And so the purpose of these videos is to go through the checklist before you come to pick up the motorhome, so that you can just ask questions and we don't have to go through every part or every system. And then also when you're out on your trip, if you're having some kind of trouble, you can refer to the videos and see how the hookup works, or what you need to do about water, or any of the systems. So hopefully we can answer most of your questions on the video, and then when you come to pick up the motorhome, you can just come with questions. So I'm going to go through this. Some things that we're going to talk about will be completely obvious, and it feels stupid that I even have to say them, but it's just liability for your sake and for our sake. So one thing about liability, let's talk about that first. The ugly questions. So we used to get renter's insurance for the motorhome. I'm going to sit back down and have a little conversation with you. We used to get insurance for renters, but we found that insurance was a secondary insurance, and so we were paying hundreds of dollars a month for this insurance. And we've rented motorhomes for 4 or 5 years, and we've only had one incident. And in fact, I'll tell you what it was. They hit the pole at the gas station and just scraped right along the edge of the motorhome. And that's something to be really aware of as you go in and out of gas stations, is to make your turn wide enough that you don't hit that pole. So we thought we had this great insurance. We'd been paying a small fortune for it. And ultimately, they were a secondary insurance and completely defaulted to the driver's insurance. So what we ask you to do is to check with your insurance, make sure you're covered through your personal insurance, and so we don't get that secondary insurance anymore. So the coverage is totally up to you. Of course, if there's anything mechanical that happens, we will do our very best to get it fixed and get you back on the road as quickly as we can. This motorhome is super low miles. How many miles is it? Like 30,000-ish. And we've taken it on some some long enough road trips to know that everything is mechanically sound. So we don't anticipate any problems. If we felt like there was going to be problems, we of course wouldn't send it with you. But you're in a motorhome, you're in a driving house, and so things happen. Sometimes things go out or things go wrong. So anything mechanical is our responsibility. Anything that happens because of foul play, because your kids were jumping off the bed and broke the door handle or whatever, then that's up to you to fix and just to bring it back in as good of condition as you left it in. And so we anticipate that things happen, but if there's an accident, that's up to your insurance. So let's talk a little bit about driving. As far as like the driver's seat, everything is pretty much the same as driving a regular vehicle. We have had people who didn't realize that they could lift or lower the steering wheel. That's something that you can do. We like to have air going through the vehicle, so we open the windows often. And you know, it's just a bus. Be careful, stay in your lane, drive slowly, don't feel like you have to be in a hurry. Wind can be an issue. You're a house on wheels, and so if you can avoid driving at windy times, you'll be glad that you did. It can be a little stressful, but if you have to drive in the wind, just slow down and you'll get to your destination. Hopefully everyone can be happy and safe. We'd encourage you to stay off of gravel roads as much as possible. They can wreak havoc on loose screws and dust and dirt and fill this thing with a big dusty mess. So if you'll avoid that, I already covered making sure that you've got big wide turns. We do have a backup camera there that every time you put it in reverse, it should help you out. Okay, packing. Someone's going to be worried about packing this baby up. So let me tell you some of the things that we keep in here and some things that you'll want to for sure have on your packing list. I have written a few checklists. If you go to RV Cache, spelled like Cache Valley, RVCACHE.com, I have some checklists and some meal ideas. And on those checklists, I even have some of the things that we normally keep in the motorhome. So that should be helpful for you. But of course, every family's different and everyone has their own things that they like. There is tons of storage space underneath. So, and we also have a bike rack if you want to take it with the motorhome. It holds 4 bikes, and we just, you know, it's one that connects to the hitch. And so if you want to take that and have bikes on the back, that's always fun. You can put your life jackets, your helmets, everything underneath. Underneath, I like to pack like in totes. You can pack your cooking, whatever, your food in totes, and they stay clean underneath the motorhome. We also like to use suitcases. Everyone but Josh, my husband, he likes to just throw his shirts in the closet. But the rest of us use suitcases, and then I can just have the kids pull their suitcases out when it's time to get dressed, put them all back in the closet, and they kind of serve as their drawers. We keep this, it looks dirty, but it's really just stained, but we keep this in the sink. And we like to have everyone have water bottles. We really prefer not to have open sodas or open juices in the motorhome for obvious reasons. So we just have, everyone has their own water bottle, and we keep them in the sink, and then if they spill, we're not sitting on water. So that's just like a personal preference and a little tip, have everyone fill their water bottles. We will send you with cleaning supplies. With our kids and family, every night we do a big cleanup. We have everyone wipe everything down. You know, we have contests to see who can get the most dust on their wet wipe, and we just wipe everything down every night. And it's so easy because you can practically clean the whole kitchen sitting from the kitchen table. So it just happens in a few minutes. We will also send you with a little hand vac. And so every night we just have everyone vacuum around the corners, and just, it works great for us. That's not everyone's style. You might want to just do it at the end. But we will send you like with some window cleaner, some dish soap, and just some basics, some wet wipes. We don't have babies, but I can't live without the wet wipes when we're motorhoming, or disinfectant wipes. Of course, paper towels. I use a lot of Ziploc baggies when we're motorhoming because they can fit in the nooks and crannies of the fridge a little bit easier. So if we have leftovers, instead of throwing them in a Tupperware like I would at home, I throw them in a Ziploc bag, put them in the fridge. You will be amazed at how much this fridge and freezer can hold. We have learned from hard experience that it's best not to open the fridge while you're driving, especially if you have things like full gallons of milk, or glass bottles of pickles, you know, those kind of things. Just if you're driving, you know, maybe wait till you're stopped somewhere to open up the fridge. And then of course, always make sure the fridge and freezer are clasped closed. This has actually got a lock on it, so you can lock it, but make sure they're clasped closed when you're driving. That's something that you don't want to have popped open. We will send you with like basic cooking gear. Like we've got a big pot that we use often for pasta. I really like to do super simple meals when I'm motorhoming. Life is just easier when it's simple meals. We love that we don't have to eat out when we're motorhoming because I've meal planned. But it's also fun, like, to have popsicles in the freezer, and then when you stop at places, you can give each of your kids a popsicle and whatever. We also have like some big pans under here. So, you know, that's helpful. I do not use the oven when I am motorhoming, but it works perfectly, and there are people who love to use it. I have a friend that buys a Costco pot pie every time she's motorhoming and uses her oven. We have cooked like baked potatoes while we're driving in the oven, and the oven works. And so if you're creative, you're welcome to use that, but I don't have oven pans in here because that's not something that I use often. The microwave works. You just will have to either have the generator running or be plugged in somewhere. It won't just run off of the batteries like while you're driving. We've got cutting boards. You'll want to use those. Obviously, these are not solid surface countertops that you can cut on. There's a big closet back here. When I pack, I just have the kids all put their suitcases in here. We stack them up, and that works really simply. There's also tons of storage space under the bed. And so that's where we put all of our bedding every morning when we wake up. We just have the kids grab their blankets, their sleeping bags, their pillows, throw it all under the bed. We close that, and that's where we keep all of the bedding. It stays clean and safe and good. We will have all of the supplies for like the toilet. And Josh will tell you more about the sewage system, but we have your gloves, and you have to use special toilet paper. Please don't use regular toilet paper. You need to use marine or RV toilet paper. We'll have some in here, but if you're going on a long trip, you might need more. And so be conscientious of that toilet paper. What happens is it sticks to the edges of the system, and then the alerts don't work right. You can't tell when your gray water or black water tank are working. Let's see. I will leave a few other basic supplies in here, things that I'll leave like some alcohol in here, some first aid stuff. Josh will have some basic tools in here in case you need tools for anything. Let me show you outside in the bins. We will take off the bedding, so you have your own bedding that you can know is clean, and you can replace it when you need to, and your own sheets. With the kids sleeping on the couch and the table, I feel strongly about using sheets.